Welcome back to Soccer Gaming, and welcome back to the Jackson Jensen story. In this episode, we're going to go all the way through and do all the off-season stuff in this episode. I'm going to kind of just go through there. I'll talk about it. I'll talk to you while I'm doing it. I'm probably going to take my face off of the thing because it's going to be it honestly takes like an hour or so to get through all of this, and then I'm going to have to edit it down. So I'm just going to go ahead and just talk through it as we go through the off-season after winning a national championship and staying at Fresno State. So if you guys would like to watch that, like to watch who we get for next year, stick around. So Aguilera didn't have that bad of a year. I mean, yeah, he didn't play great, but he did get the job done to win us a national championship. Looking at his stats, almost 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. Obviously, you'd like to see the interception go down. A little few more touchdowns. 35-5 is great. So 26 and 17, definitely something to look into next year. Completion percentage at 68 is not great, but again, if the interceptions goes down, completion's probably going to go up a little bit there as well. And he is a sophomore, so he will be back next year unless he decides to transfer. Going to the rushing, Greenberg, who is a senior, will be gone this year. Had 13 touchdowns, 1,500 yards rushing, carried the ball 304 times, averaged almost 100 yards rushing for him. Then we had transfer Quentin Edwards come in and have a big season for us. Actually really impactful. 4 touchdowns for him, 6.5 average on the rushing yards, 726. And averaged almost 50 yards. But he was big in the passing game, which we'll look at here in a second. Then we got the receivers. Charles Page going over 1,000 yards on the season, 7 touchdowns for him. Again, Quentin Edwards there at halfback, catching 71 passes for about 10 yards a route, 3 touchdowns for him. Jamari Johnson, a transfer tight end, came in last year, had 4 touchdowns this year. Did very well for us, kind of our safety blanket. Both of these guys were really our safety blankets. Maluwalu, more of a deep threat guy. Kind of you see that in his stats there. Only 400 yards, only 17 receptions, but when he caught it, 5 touchdowns, pretty good. Snead, kind of the same thing. Kind of a better route runner, but kind of a deeper threat too there as well. And he had 30 receptions, 5 touchdowns for him. Then we got blocking. I mean, wow. Downs played, 940 downs, only gave up 3 sacks, 908, 1 sack by Myrtle. So our offensive line did great all year long. Defensive-wise, we got solo tackles, Chambliss, 43. Damarian White, Defensive Player of the Year with 43 as well. Also had 48 assists, 91 tackles, 48 tackles for a loss, 30 sacks. And then interception leader was Chambliss and Marciano. Big from our linebackers. Just shows you how much those zones get pickoffs over the middle there by our middle linebackers. Granted, they're not able to really do much with it once they catch it. They're not that fast, but they do enough to get the job done. Derek Moore and Scrugans having defensive touchdowns this year as well. Let's take a look at the assisted tackles. 89 by Chambliss. 132 total tackles for him. 8 sacks, 6 picks. I mean, he had an amazing year as a senior. Marciano, a sophomore, so he will be back next year. But if it says anything about how great of a season Chambliss had, Damarian White had even better with 30 sacks. That's absolutely insane. 30 sacks, 48 tackles for losses. That's crazy to look at. Damarian White, Defensive Player of the Year. And yeah, that's pretty much how we did this year. I guess we could take a look and see how we did as punt returner, as kick returner. I think kicking, we did pretty well, 28 to 35, 80%. I mean, obviously you want to see that higher, but it's nothing to be like, let's get rid of him. He's a sophomore. He's played very well for us. Punting, pretty okay. I mean, we don't punt a lot, but when we do, he has been fine. I mean, he's all close to 15 or close to 50% there on the inside the 20, which is kind of what you want. Kick return winning Player of the Year, but we didn't have any kick returns. No, we just had punt returns. So Page having himself an amazing year as well there. And then punt return, 3 of them. 1 in the national championship game, 2 throughout the season. I mean, he's built different. page really, really good. And that's going to be it for the stats this year. We'll move on to the next section. I believe players leaving are coming up. Let's take a look at that and see if we have any players leaving. Okay, Maluwalu wants to transfer due to play style. Honestly, if he leaves, it's not the end of the world, okay? If he leaves, it is not the end of the world. Obviously, we want him to stay, and he does not want to stay, and that's fine. We will come up with some different solutions there. Wide receiver, again, he's not one of our main wide receivers. Yes, he is a deep threat, but guess what? There's plenty of those in the transfer portal, plenty of those coming in with recruits. So I'm not too honestly worried about it. Quarterback leaving, nope. Halfback leaving, we knew both of these guys were gone. Looks like Greenberg is going to take that chance at the pro draft. Looks like he might be a projected 4th-round pick. Wide receiver, Maluwalu, you saw leaving. Tight ends, sad to see him go. I'm surprised Jamari Johnson isn't going to be a pro tight end. We'll have to see if he actually gets drafted. Just because it says graduating doesn't mean he won't get drafted if he's good enough. Left tackle, Simmons came over. Might see him in pro. And that might be it. No, pro draft, Lafayette, whatever you want to call him. He's going to be projected as a 7th-round pick. We'll see if he gets grabbed up as well. Outside, Chambliss is gone. Ashley at corner is gone. He had a great career. Mostly last year, he was really big for us. This year, I feel like he got the cornerback treatment for when you're a really good corner. They just don't throw to you. They don't throw your way, and that's kind of what happened with Ashley this year. They did not throw at him because he was so good last year. They just didn't throw to him. So, but he had a great year last year and another great year this year for us on defense. So, looks like we got one transfer out in Maluwalu and a couple of guys going pro from the senior class, but we're not losing anybody except Maluwalu as I believe a sophomore going to junior year. So, pretty good there. We'll have to see what the transfer portal offers next week. Keep bringing in the recruits, the commits. I love to see it. We have to be a top. I'd have to look at where we're at, but we have to be pretty high on the draft classes this year because we've done not draft classes, recruiting classes this year because we've done a great job recruiting. So we'll see that in a second. Let's take a look at the draft results first. See if we got it. We got 4 in. I wondered if he would get in, and I wondered if Simmons would get in as well. So both of the guys that I thought would get in were drafted in the 6th and 7th round. Greenberg going in round 4. The others going in round 6 and round 7. So 4 guys drafted from last year's senior class. I'm sure this year's senior class is going to be loaded from Fresno State. So that's going to be fun to look forward to going into the season. But congratulations to all of them. And I hope they have a great pro career. So I'm going to jump into transfer portal and the offseason recruiting thing. And once I get some stuff done in there, I will come back and show you guys. JoJo Robinson, transfer. Osodono, transfer. Nick Jordan, transfer. Tayton Byer, transfer. Ooh, we getting them. We going after him, we getting them. We are not goofing around, I can tell you that. Fresno State is here to stay. Love it. I love it. Huge. Huge. I love it. Keep bringing them in. Right now, going into the last week, we were 13, so we dropped out of 13th. We are down to 19. Hey, I'll take a top 20 class. At Fresno State, yes. At Fresno State, I will take a top 20 class. We worked hard this year to pull this class, so I'm excited for it. Next year is going to be even better, I'm sure. All right, got one and got the last one. So I believe we signed 35 recruits this year. Signed everybody that we were going after and wanted after, I believe, Oregon. No, Oregon didn't steal any this year, did they? That was last year. I believe they stole a bunch. So not this year. National Signing Day. Let's see where we finished up. We were number 19. Top classes number. We dropped out. 24. Hey, we'll take it. 8 4-stars. I believe that's the first time ever that Fresno State has signed 8 or more 4-stars. So I can't be mad about that. Can't really contend, though, when people are signing 29 4-stars like Auburn. But it doesn't matter. Let's take a look at what we got and what we did this year and what we got to look forward till next year. Got some quarterbacks in here. I expect probably to move a couple of these to somewhere else. But we do have a bunch of 4-stars, including a bunch of quarterbacks, including 4-star George Freeman. Excited to see what he could do for us in the future. Running back wise, we got Archer Washington and Dwayne Winston. I think one of the quarterbacks though will probably end up going to maybe Grissom. One of them may be going to running back. Anyways, wide receiver to Guy, kind of our main guy we were going after. He's a gem, so I'm excited to see what he's going to be next year. He's our deep threat. Then we got tight ends and Exum and Golden. Both guys I think we could really step up in that tight end role as we're going to need as we had the departure of Jamari Johnson leaving. So I think these two tight ends could jump in and make some impact early in their career. Offensive tackle wise, got a couple of guys that I think we could definitely build into. I don't think either of them are going to be starting. Our offensive line is stacked right now. Absolutely stacked. But we do need guys to bring up through the ranks because I believe we got a couple of freshmen, a sophomore, and I think the other two are seniors. So we definitely need some guys getting ready for their chance and their opportunity. When it comes to the right end, left end, defensive end, whatever it is, we got a 4-star, which is big for us. Outside linebacker, we went out and got a good transfer in Tam. I believe he's a transfer. No, he's not a transfer. He was a guy that we got in recruiting through regular, but a huge get for us there at 4-star. Excited about Kroom. Think he's going to be good as well. Heimberger, Pino, both guys I think could possibly make some impact early. We did have our right outside linebacker leave. Another one was a sophomore, so he's going to be a junior. He'll probably be back, but I expect one of these guys to get some decent playing time this year. We got JoJo Robinson Jr. I don't know if he will play. He is a transfer, buyer a transfer there as well. Free safety wise, we should be good. Just kind of picking up depth there at free safety. And then we ended up getting a punter because we thought ours was going to transfer. So we'll see. If he's better, then he'll start. So that all being said, that's what we got going in for our recruits this year. Happy, super excited, 24th ranked at National Signing Day. We will see what it all looks like soon. Telling you what, these trainings look pretty darn good. Damarian White up to a 95. He is going to be a stud this year. I'm so excited to see if he could break his own record of 30 sacks in a season. As it goes to quarterback, Aguilera has been there. He's done it. He kind of knows what's going on. He will probably be our starter. Just the awareness and everything he's got. We'll have to see, though, because Rob Wells does push him, and that's good. It pushes him in practice and makes Aguilera a better player. Halfback-wise, we got to figure out halfback. I think I'm a little worried into this year, but I feel like I'm always a little worried, and it always ends up working out, and our halfbacks end up doing great. So maybe I shouldn't worry about it this year. Fullback's good. Wide receiver-wise, Page, another year under his belt. He's going to be our number one. Sneed really took a step up last year. We'll have to see how he kind of goes through this year and see if he is the guy for us. Tight end wise, Hook, Sizer, all these guys could be playing. We'll just have to kind of see what they can do moving forward. Left tackle, 85 as a senior. Left guard, a sophomore, 91 overall. So he'll be back even next year. Amazing. Junior at center, 92 overall there. So that's good to see from our center. Our right guard is a junior. He is an 92. That's good to see. Sophomore 89. So we got depth. We definitely got depth, and we definitely got really, really good. They were young guys. Now they're veterans. Juniors, 88, 87 there on the right tackle. Left end, Damarian White, the defensive player of the year last year. We'll see what he could do, if he could step that number up this year or what it all looks like. But he is amazing, and hopefully this year he comes out and does the same thing. Right end, Dabney, senior. Hopefully he can kind of make an impact on that right side. Then we've got defensive tackles where we're just okay. At defensive tackle, good enough to get the job done. Easton having himself a great year last year. He improves up to an 84. Then we got an 85 from Bethel, Calvin, and Marciano. Marciano started for us last year. but Bethel might even start for us this year. I believe he was redshirted last year and had a huge offseason. So we'll have to take a look at that and see kind of how we did. I know I used Marciano last year because we needed some more speed in the zone, but honestly, Bethel might be where we go there as a freshman redshirt. Huge to see from him. Right outside linebacker, Agude as a sophomore. Let's see what he could do rushing that side. At corner, we had a couple of transfers and everything there, a couple of recruits, so we're going to fill that corner spot in, but it is a spot where I'm a little worried about how we're going to look kind of going out. We did lose, 3 corners last year that were kind of just good depth and did a great job. Ware had himself a good year, so I'm not really worried about that, but, I mean, we got corners that are kind of inexperienced, so we'll have to see how that all shakes out. Free safety-wise, Scrogan's probably going to be our starter there this year. 94 speed, going to run out a lot of guys from behind. Then we got Higgins as our strong safety. Had himself some really good years, himself some really good games last year. We'll see what he does this year. Our kicker, Dolega, he got better. 87 power, 89 accuracy. Perfect. Exactly what we want. Punter-wise, we're not happy with him. He tried to leave last year, so we'll see what he does this year. But this is by far our best team, by far. I mean, I would say by far because last year our team ended up being very, very good. But overall wise, this is like the best overall team that we've ever had. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this, and I will catch you once we're done with the transfers and all that. So looking at the schedule we got for this year, week 1 at home against number 9, Arizona. Arizona last year, 10-3, 7-2 in the division. We want to test ourselves this year, so we're going week 1 at home against Arizona. Week 2, we're going to go to a place that offered us a chance at a head coaching position. We might see that we lost out there by going to USC in week 2. Week 3 is open. Week 4, we are at Michigan State, a team that played pretty good last year and is ranked to start the season again this year. We'll have to see if they stay ranked or maybe they fall out of the top 25 before week 4. Week 5 is when we start our Mountain West Conference games. We are at Wyoming to start the season off. Then we come home against Georgia Tech for our last non-conference game against Georgia Tech. Then we go at Hawaii, home versus UNLV. At New Mexico, home against San Diego State and San Jose State. Then we go at Nevada and home versus Utah State. I do not see Boise State in it this year, so we are not playing them this year, which I don't know if is a good thing or bad thing. I did see that they got a new head coach, so we'll have to see how good Boise ends up being if they're a team we end up playing for the conference championship. So that's going to be it for the schedule this year. We're going to lock those in. I got the recruiting set up. We are ready to go there, and we are ready to go to next week. Before we finish this episode, I want to go over the depth chart going in to next year. We've done some red shirts and we've fully taken a look at this team. Aguilera starting the season is going to get the job. We'll have to see. I mean, again, if he struggles or something, then we're going to give Wells a shot. Halfback wise, Horn is going to be our starter. Career is going to see a lot of opportunities, and then Sammy Daniels and Archer Washington will be behind them. Wide receiver wise, Page the 1, Sneed the 2, and then our freshman Tegai is going to be number 3, McClinton 4, De Silva is number 5. Tight end wise, we got Hook, Sizer, and Goldwire. Left tackle, we got Mason York, the senior. Left guard, we got a sophomore redshirt left guard, Cordero. Center is going to be Myrtle. He's back again this year. Bosby is going to get the start at right guard as a junior, and the right tackle is going to be Lanier. So again, most of these guys are going to be back next year. The only one that's going to be missing is going to be York, but again, right behind him is another really good junior. So our offensive line is looking good, at least for this year and hopefully next year, unless we have a bunch of guys that leave. Going to the defensive side, defensive player of the year, Demarion White coming back. He's going to be at the left end there at 95 overall. Right in, we got Danby. And take up that right side. Defensive tackle, we got Ratty and Nzuu. To start us off, Myrtle might play a little bit. We'll have to see. Left outside linebacker is going to be David Easton. I mean, he played amazing for us last year. We know what he can do. He gets the starting role there on the left outside linebacker. Middle linebacker is going to be a freshman redshirt, and Matthew Bethel. We'll have to see how he does. If not, probably Marciano sees some playing time up there as well. Just because Marciano's been there, we kind of know what he could do and kind of how he plays. I mean, Marciano wasn't the best linebacker, but he did do a good enough job. So he's a guy that's had the experience and stuff. So if we need to go to experience like that, then it's a guy we could do that pretty easy with. Right outside linebacker is going to be a sophomore red shirt, 87 overall there. Corner is going to be Jojo Robinson Jr., a transfer that we got, a huge transfer we got. He's going to fit in right there. Bayer is going to be number 3. Free safety, Scroggins back in that starting lineup after last year, kind of playing the backup role. He had a really good camp, so he's starting there at free safety. And then the strong safety is going to be Devontae Higgins. Had an amazing year last year, won a couple of awards there as well. Kicker is the same. Punter is the same as it has been. Page is going to be a kick returner. The freshman Tagai might see some kick returns and punt returns, but it's probably not going to happen because why would you take the 3-time – no – yeah, he won it his freshman year and sophomore year. So freshman year and sophomore year, Page won the Returner of the Year award. We are not taking him out of the return role. And then we got to have all these other little positions here too. So that's going to be the depth chart going into this year. Just taking a look at the roster as a whole, just so you guys can see kind of the top end. Come in as an 87 overall, which is better than last year. 87 on offense, 87 on defense. Those don't really matter, to be honest with you. Those are kind of skewed anyways. But we're starting to get to the point where we got some really, really good players on this team, led by Damarian White at 95 overall. If you guys enjoyed this video and are excited to begin the new season, make sure you guys hit the red subscribe button so you come back and watch next year to see if we can repeat as national champions and see what we could do with Fresno State. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Slacker out.